Welcome to Make Today Pay. Fred Wilson here, continuing with my outreach in terms of your process of achievement, your ability to succeed, the things that you do, that you say and that you do to help support that, particularly in sales. And since I'm in real estate sales, also real estate sales. And, I've recently been talking a lot about what I'll call the big five that people in sales ought to do. First one is they have to take care of themselves, clearly. And we tend to not do a good job often with that. So what do I mean by take care of yourself? Well, you've got to make sure that you're breathing right and staying hydrated, because you'd be surprised how holding your breath and shallow breathing lowers your energy and ultimately your ability to achieve. And hydration, big problem. If you fall behind, there's a saying, if you're thirsty, it's too late. You got to stay ahead of it. Keep that water coming in. Stay hydrated. You've got to get your rest. You have to get your sleep and take your breaks, all the way out to a vacation, down to, in my case, meditating twice a day and getting that hours of sleep that works for you. In my case, it's roughly 7 hours. I can get by with 6.5, okay, but 7's what I'm shooting for. Other people might be 8. There isn't a right or wrong. There's just your need. So in addition to breathing and hydration and rest, then there's nutrition. That's a big factor, right? You are what you eat, in a sense, particularly when it comes to energy and in broad, important ways, health. And then that fifth of the big five, exercise. And again, this is very personal. My basic tip is to identify forms of exercise that you enjoy, that you want to do, that you are pulled towards versus it's tough, you don't like it, you don't want to do it. And then go from there. We're each an individual, but each individual does need their exercise, does need their nutrition, and clearly needs to take care of themselves and these various things. So again, in terms of today's message, I am talking in addition to that idea of taking care of yourself, and in addition to that idea of staying connected to your why. That's something I talk about a lot too. Most people, they have their motivations, but they kind of lose touch with it. That person that has a burning desire, that they feel the burn, boy, they're much more powerful in terms of pursuit of that thing than the person that, checks it off as a box, puts it in a drawer, leaves it in a file, and, they have the vagaries of life. Other things come up and dominate their awareness. Man, you got to stay connected to your why. And you have to maintain your awareness of opportunity. This is another key thing that I talk about all the time, how important it is to develop an opportunative mindset. And I'm very excited because in 2022, I plan to release another online program, and it will be created specifically and designed to help people become opportunative in their lives, to understand how opportunity works, to tune into opportunity more effectively, and to tap into it more often. Right in my wheelhouse. I love it. And then I talk a lot about how important it is, particularly in sales, real estate sales, to seek out and talk to people. We get caught up, particularly in this modern day era, with communication, alternative forms of communication, social media, text, email, leading examples. But we don't really talk to enough people. We don't seek them out in terms of conversation, and then develop the skills that turn a conversation into a discussion of discovery. That's the high skill in sales. I always say to people, particularly in real estate sales, you aren't in the sales business, you're in the discovery business. Do you know how to do that? It's a skill. And so here today, to make today pay, I want to talk about this, what I call fifth thing. In addition to taking care of yourself and staying connected to your why and maintaining your awareness of opportunity and seeking out and talking with people, this key thing is seizing the flow of information. This is part and parcel of how you talk with people. And I alluded to it a moment ago, saying the ability to go from a go nowhere conversation to a discussion of discovery is the high skill in the sales business. And central to that ability, going from a go nowhere conversation to a discussion of discovery, central to that is being able to seize the flow of information. That sort of sounds like a military tactical thing, oh, here comes the SWAT team, we're going to seize the flow. And I don't mean it like that, although it can kind of have the impact of taking over and gaining control of a certain, what we'll call turf or territory, or certain materials, if you will. Gives you a huge advantage, this ability to seize the flow of information in a conversation. You see, the way things are set up and the way out there in the world and in the sales world, and in particular, since I'm in real estate sales, in the real estate sales industry, we're presentation dominant. Getting the word out, marketing, giving advice, being the expert, building rapport, past client referral, geographic farming, branding, marketing. This is all information going from us out towards people. We're taught to have that outreach. It makes sense. Challenge is, what's your model for success? You see, in my sales business, my model is that I can achieve success today. And success is defined as identifying a new client. That's how I look at it. I got to do that today. Now, I didn't say every day. I'm not perfect. Things don't always go my way. But I'm in the hunt, I like to say, each day, because I do certain things in a certain way. And one of them is I seize the flow of information when I'm in conversations with people. In other words, instead of all that outreach, I get the flow of information coming my way. I find out how change, which is inevitable and always happening in any person's life, I find out better than other people do how change in their lives is affecting their lives relative to their wants and needs. And in particular, in real estate, their real estate wants and needs. It's the high skill in the business. This is where the money is, so to speak. And it doesn't just have to be about money and success in sales. This can be in your relationships. If you want to have a better marriage, get the flow of information coming your way. You already know what you want. You already know all these things about yourself, but what about the other person? Are you really tuned into that? Are you really good at understanding their wants and needs so that you have a fighting chance of delivering? And are they doing that too? Is that coming your way? My wonderful and beautiful and intelligent daughter, Natalie, got married recently. And in my Father of the Bride talk, I talked about how you have to be the value add. In whatever you do in your life, you have to add value to the marriage. And the way that the two spouses can add value, one of the ways, is by truly listening and getting the flow of information to come their way from each other, so they have a real fighting chance of 1 + 1 = 3 instead of the classic 1 + 1 = 2, or what happens in far too many relationships, 1 + 1 = 1.5. And you're adding value to your own life, to your marriage, to your sales business when you can do this, when you can get the flow of information coming your way. It's a skill. Now, this skill isn't just about asking questions, although that's part and parcel of it, but it's also so much so about listening. Listening is like a lost skill. We tend not to listen well. I just mean people out there in general. Not you. Definitely not me. Ha ha. And this is why the technique that I created, if you will, that I named, is named the ask to listen technique. It's not just about asking questions. It's about listening to the answers and then being able to ask another question based on that answer, and therefore keep the flow of information coming your way. It's brilliant, people. It's not only career changing or career shaping, it's life changing. Learning how to seize the flow of information so that you are in a position to understand what's happening with them and what effect that is having on them and what you can do to potentially add value in that scenario. Be it sales, marriage, or really any other endeavor. How about coaching? Something I do. Teaching people how to seize the flow of information is an incredible value add as a coach. And it surprises me that almost no coach out there teaches this well. There are a few that take a shot at it in their own way. And a lot of times they really go towards that listening piece, which is so important. And again, that's why I like the ask to listen technique. Ask a question based on something that's relevant to that person. Listen to the answer, and then ask your next question based on that answer. And repeat. And you will be finding out what's going on with that person and how that's important and affecting them, and possibly discerning what you can do to add value to it. Whereas normally, information's going away from us. As I gave the example in real estate sales, marketing, branding, advertising, social media, yada, 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 building rapport, being of service, giving advice, being the expert. I mean, it's all outflow, outflow, outflow. And there's a place for that. But if you really want to have the chance to identify your next opportunity to add value, which could be another sale in your sales business, could be an improvement in your marital relationship, or in some other endeavor in your life, learn to get the flow of information coming your way. What does it look like and sound like? Well, I often use this example of the ask to listen technique, which is really central to getting information to come your way, and therefore operating in discovery mode predominantly. Inflow versus outflow. Both have their place, but inflow should be number one priority. Should be inflow dominant. Outflow has its place, but it should be secondary, supplemental. Got to learn how to get the flow of information coming your way. So an example I often give is ask someone, and you can do this. You can have some fun with this with someone and challenge yourself to, oh, I see what he means. Get that sense. But I say, what's your favorite color to someone? I ask that question. That's what I start with. And they'll say, blue. They said blue. Mm-hmm. So the question I ask is, blue, really? What is it you like about blue? Listening now. Well, I don't know. It just makes me think of the ocean and the sky. It's a beautiful color. Ah, the ocean, the sky. Are you kind of an outdoorsy person? Well, not me. My spouse is. I'm more of the couch potato type. Really? You say couch potato? What makes you a couch potato? Well, I like to watch the TV and keep the Cheetos coming. 7 days a week? Well, no, more on the weekends. What is it you watch? Well, mostly sports, which is kind of funny because I said I'm not outdoorsy, but I am sportsy. Now notice, I'm finding out about this person. I'm not talking about myself. I'm not the one giving information away. Not that I'm against giving information away. I'm against not getting it. You have to learn how to seize the flow. This ask to listen technique is a great way to avoid not knowing what your next question will be, the pregnant pause, the awkward silence, and to stop the flow of information from going away from you. or no information flowing at all. This is huge, people. Again, it is career shaping in sales. It is life changing throughout your day-to-day existence. Learning how to seize the flow of information is a necessary component of succeeding more, of getting more of what it is you want and having to settle for less of whatever it is you just seem to get. And it's a big part of being able to make today pay. So there you have it. Now, I'll leave you with a question. What are you going to do about it? Talk to you next time. And keep tuning in, subscribing, liking, and following me on Make Today Pay.